Hi, this is Judy Pearson-Wright from Gourmet Skates. Since we left Austin, we've had a number of questions about how to remount a blade or plug a stripped hole in the bottom of a figure skating boot. And I could explain this numerous times over, but thought, well, why don't we just make a simple video so you can see. Now, this particular boot is in pretty bad shape. The sole is kind of cracked. I'm just using it as a demo. But if someone actually wanted to skate on this boot, we would fill those cracks with Gorilla Glue, which is the adhesive we use to put the plugs in the holes. It is waterproofing, and it will hold the sole together at least for a little while. No guarantees. It could possibly just continue to disintegrate and not hold a blade at all. But it's not in that bad shape. One area right there is cracked and very, very dry. These are the tools we use. There are two kinds of Gorilla Glue. The one on the left, the white one, is a fast-drying glue. It makes things faster, but it doesn't seem to hold quite as well as the original slow-drying Gorilla Glue. And it will say 2 to 4 hours dry time. We try to give it overnight because the plugs are down inside a boot where they don't get a lot of air contact. It does tend to take a little bit longer, and we'd rather know that it's absolutely cured than not. On the right you have a punch. This is your basic leather punch and a piece of scrap leather, about 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe 1/4 of an inch. We use that to punch the plugs. As you can see, it's full of holes. These are the plugs here in the front. We have two different sizes. If the boot had a number 8 screw or a stripped hole, we use a larger plug. If it had a number 6 screw, we use the thinner plugs. Razor blade for shaving off any excess plug, or Gorilla Glue. Gorilla Glue will expand and foam as it cures, and you'll have to clean that off. Plastic mallet, a hard mallet rather than a soft mallet. You can use a hammer. The mallet's just a little bit more forgiving. The syringe is full of water. We have numerous pets, so we often have syringes left over from different medication. Gorilla Glue sets better in a moist environment, so if a boot is very dry, we will shoot a little bit of water into the hole and then suck it back out. So we just want it damp. We don't want it wet, but just dampen the leather and we get a better adhesion. So general rule of thumb on the sole holes on the front of the boot, we usually use 2 plugs to fill those, and on the heels 3, 4 if you can get them in, but often it won't take 4. So using my punch, slightly larger hole because I have some number 8 holes that have stripped, and now that that boot is all dried out, they may not hold a screw well at all, so we'll plug them. Just punch, and we collect the little plug. We make a pile of these. Count how many holes you have and punch as many punches as you'll need for that number of holes. Again, since this is a really dry sole, I'll put a drop of water in each hole. The other tool that will be handy is a nail punch or nail setter. You'll use these to pound the plugs in, but in that case I needed to open up the hole. Then I'll go back and just suck up any excess water, just pull it out. You can use an eyedropper, an ear bulb, a skinny little syringe, whatever works. So again, you just want the hole damp. You don't want it full of water. Just want to have dampened the leather. So we sucked up all the water. Now for the glue. So here it is curing, and as it cures you can see there's a little bit of glue coming up right on this one. We'll just wipe that off. You can continue to wipe it off or just let it sit and come back and shave off the excess when it's dry. People ask why we use leather. Well, because the sole is made out of leather, so the plugs will expand and contract similarly to the sole with the moisture and the change in temperatures. A lot of people use wooden dowels, including some boot makers. The wooden dowels tend to absorb moisture, which rots your sole, and they splinter in a very short amount of time. So they'll hold a screw for a little while, but then they're going to let go. We find that the leather plugs hold much longer and much better. Okay, so we had a skating party last night, so this boot has sat for hours, so it's definitely dry. And as you can see, the glue has bubbled up just a tiny bit. We just take the razor blade and again shave off, because the plugs do tend to swell, shave off any excess, make the bottom of the boot nice and smooth and flat. And it's ready for the blade. Once we get the new blade hole set, we do snow seal the entire sole. There you have it.